Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about four things. First, I've been converting a lot of apps over to StateAdapt, and it's been a lot of work, and I've learned a lot of things, so I want to share the things that I've learned first. And then the second is I want to explain the improvements that I've made to StateAdapt because of those things, and then I'm going to apply those improvements to this project that I just did, the real world app. And then I'm going to talk about just my thoughts in general about how the whole conversion went with this real world app. So first, the things that I learned. Well, there turned out to be a lot of things I learned, but there ended up being a main process that I followed. And it was first create the adapter and copy the code from the reducer over, and then handle the actions and side effects at the same time as part of the sources, and create a store and plug in those the adapter state changes to those sources. Okay, and then after that, it was make the build errors go away by plugging the components into the right sources instead of the methods that the facade had, or whatever. Just get the build to work, and sometimes to plug the components into the sources correctly, those sources needed, so to initialize the store and plug in the components correctly, there was some data from the component that was needed in the store. And I was creating the stores in the facades in this project, and I needed data from the components, and they needed to be in facades because they were used by several components. But I'm not gonna say, I'm still learning. I'm not sure what the final answer is on a lot of these things, but the main thing is it's okay to create a method in the facade that takes in something from the components when it creates the store. So if it's a source that only the component has access to, or if it's from another store or something, and you can't get it from the facade, maybe something like that. I'm just realizing that I probably could have just gotten it directly in the facade on some of them. But another one is route data. That's not in a StateAdapt store, and I'm not sure how to get it in a store, and I'm still thinking about that. But I know that what worked was defining some route data and accessing that in the component. And then one that I didn't encounter but probably will at some point is component inputs. And those are available in ng on changes and ng on init. So basically the store has to be created later. And there might be other scenarios where it has to be created not as a property in the class itself, but it declared there with its type, and then set later inside an ng on init. But I don't like doing that, and what I'd probably just do is define the observables and not the store itself, but just the selectors that are needed, and then assign those inside an ng on init. So yeah, but the one principle is hopefully when a route loads, actions aren't fired because the user didn't do anything, and it's annoying to have Redux DevTools cluttered, and it's not technically reactive, and it might be hiding anti-patterns of some kind. I don't know. Just the ideal for me is when a component loads, it just subscribes to things. So if you're, there are a couple things that I know. It's annoying to define the store path and the initial state asynchronously, because sources, they can be passed from the component into the facade store creation method, and that's great. Like, for example, if you had route params and they changed that you'd have an observable of the params, and that could be converted into a source. So, and then that would be one of the store's sources. So that's an easy situation. But if it's a one-time thing, that can be part of initial state, and that's and it'd be great to find a way to make that synchronous so it's not in a lifecycle hook. It happens when the class gets constructed. That'd be great. Anyway, I'm going to learn more about that in the next few projects that I do, so stay tuned for that. But another thing I learned was I'm not 100% settled on how to do HTTP requests still with state, like with loading state. That's still on my mind. But yeah, the function I made, get HTTP sources, it's not great for like posts and puts where the user like clicks a button or something like that. It's not an observable based on something else. It's something that just happens. In that, I don't use the request observable from the get HTTP sources function. I just define it as its own source. So that was one pattern that I learned. And then I realized that if you're creating the HTTP observable inside of like a switch map from an observable that's based off of other state, the request observable is only going to emit once. You don't want to create a source for it, so it's a different solution than the post and put one. There's just a problem with get HTTP sources, and I figured out a solution to it. So I'll explain that in a bit. What else did I learn? Am I forgetting anything? I probably learned a lot more, but those are the things that stick out to me. Defining a store inside of an observable is a bad idea, basically, because then you have to do switch maps to get to the inner observables, and then you get the weird like subscription management thing where if a new store comes out, something is always subscribing to the old one, and then the paths collide for the store. And there are weird situations that I still don't understand. But anyway, so that's what I learned, and I'm going to share my screen now to show you what I changed in StateAdapt. Okay, so first thing was this bug that I found. In hybrid mode, it's not working. So I'm going to be releasing this soon in StateAdapt version 0.41. It'll be coming soon. So that's a bug. And then this is a potential bug that I fixed. It's compensating for a TypeScript shortcoming that I hate. It's that when you're defining the source reaction map, when you're initializing a store, if you type in a state change or reaction name that doesn't actually exist on the adapter, TypeScript doesn't warn you. So if there's no corresponding reaction, I'm like filtering it out so that it doesn't try to call the function. So I'm still thinking about how to handle this exactly. I'm hoping there's a TypeScript solution to this, but I will continue and see what I find in the future. But then another one was Sometimes when I've converted reducers, there have been actions that have been dispatched with no state change as a result. And they're just to log things into Redux DevTools. So I created this as a reaction, like a state reaction that will come out just in version 0.41 with all adapters where it's a no op, so it doesn't do anything, it just returns state again. And it's to give you a place to plug in the sources so that they get dispatched internally inside StateAdapt. All sources are going to get subscribed to, as long as at some point they're part of the chain that ends up in a source that gets plugged into the store. But they're not going to get dispatched unless they're actually a source that is used in the store. Okay, so that will be handy sometimes. And then here's what I do with gate HTTP sources. I realized there were two parts of it. What's going on here? Sorry, real quick. I will fix this real quick. I already did. Okay, I paused the video and fixed this. So it was in two parts. Basically, it was taking the observable, the HTTP request observable, and wrapping it in these three actions. So request, and then success and error. So that one observable would emit three different actions. But I need to handle those separately with StateAdapt. It needs a source that's going to emit one type of action. So I had this utility thing already that was split sources. So basically, it like takes a stream. So this would be good for like WebSockets or whatever, where you have a type, like all kinds of types emitted from one stream, and then it will map those to different observables. So these are different sources that can be plugged in different places. All right, and I was doing all that here. So it returns an object with these three observables. So that's what that was doing. But with the switch map problem, with the internal issue, let me see if I can find it. I think it was here somewhere, right? Oh, I think it was below this one. Yes, down here, I think. Yeah, so in here, we're creating an HTTP request, and the so that has one request. No, it doesn't. This doesn't have any request observable or error observable or error action. It just is the raw HTTP request observable from Angular, from the service. This is where that wrapping was happening, where it was taking that observable and attaching a request action to it at the front of the stream, and then a catch error and all that stuff. So that's the function that I was just explaining, of course. So what I needed was, since this is this is going to create one single observable that will emit exactly one time, no matter how much this inner observable changes, the outer observable is not being recreated. So if you keep getting new values through here, you won't get the request action firing. It will just do it the one time, the very beginning. So what I decided to do was split that function into two. One is get HTTP actions, and that does the first part, which is take that observable and then make it a stream of 3 events instead of 1. And then the other one is split HTTP sources, which does the second half. So basically, you will right here do get HTTP actions, and then that will cause the outer observable to have have those three actions that will be pushed through the stream, the outer stream. So it turns this into that HTTP observable that used to be returned. Well, it's just from here. So that then you can use this other function, split HTTP sources, to take this and get your request object. And so what that means is this success one will be the observable of all, or no, the request one. It'll be the observable of all request actions. And there will be a new one created and added to the stream every time this runs with get HTTP actions. All right, so it'll fix the problem. That's the main thing. So what will change here is get HTTP actions, wrap that there, and that will take these, and then split HTTP sources will just take that resulting observable. All right, so that will be released in the next one, in 0.41 as well. All right. So that was what I learned, how it changed to StateAdapt, and the third is, based on this, how will I change the code in this entire project. So based on what I've learned, I'm going to now actually implement these changes here and in the other places. I'm going to go to, let's see, article edit, for example. And I'm going to get rid of this crazy store observable, and I'm going to use what I learned. I'm not publishing anything in StateAdapt to fix this. This is a pattern. I'm going to apply what I learned. So basically, these are the final touch-ups I'm going to make to this project, and then I will do the final overview. So first, I need to go publish those updates in StateAdapt. So I'm going to pause the video and go run those scripts, and then I will update the version here in this project, and then resume the recording and get started with probably the HTTP one. Yeah, because these others, I don't think they're really actionable. Like this one. Oh, this one is. I can go get rid of the no-op state changes that I created and the adapters that I did that in. So, okay, so I'll go do that now. All right. Okay, just published StateAdapt 0.41.0. I'm going to refresh. So this is behavior in the current version. No loading is shown because these are the only actions being dispatched. But request is dispatched just the first time. So I created these functions. The exact implementation had to be a little bit different because of reasons. So this one, I had to be more explicit with the types because of this issue. In TypeScript 4.7 it'll change, but you don't care about the source code probably. But anyway, got it working. And so here is me using it. I'm going to unstash. Apply the stash, I guess. So here is what changed. So I don't need this anymore, I don't think. Well, it's used elsewhere, but so these two are part of this one, and so the inner observable, this is where you apply this one, and so I change that, and then the second half is to then split the sources on the outer observable. So just looking at the raw source code, I added this, and it used to just be this, but this puts the request action at the beginning of every single inner observable, so it will keep emitting. So here's what that looks like now. There we go. It's dispatching each one. All right, list change, makes the request, success. I'm still wondering if this action is necessary at all. That's still something I'm thinking about, because it's sort of implied. If the list changed, then you're going to request. It's more like RxJS behavior. It's more RxJS typical behavior for things to just be automatic. So I've thought of some things, but I don't want the list change reaction to worry about what depends on it. That doesn't work. I was thinking of creating a selector I don't know, something that would maybe when it comes back, it keeps track of what data was used to make the request, and then there's a selector that compares the current data to the data that was used before, and if they're different, then it knows, okay, this is out of sync, we need the data to be refreshed. That would be minimal and reactive, but I don't care that much. People probably find this useful. Maybe. It's not affecting state, really. It could be if I handled it. Oh, it is affecting state. Yeah, and that's why it's showing the spinner, so whatever it is. Okay, so that's that one. And let's look at, wait, where's that console log coming from? That isn't something that we need. Okay. Good thing we didn't need it, because that would have been buggy. Yeah, there's no way we would have needed it. There's all kinds of stuff subscribing. Obviously, it's here because it's wanted. If it's not wanted, why is any of this happening? Anyway, so next one will be, I think, in the same place, but up here. All right, so this, all right, we implemented this in two places. I guess just one place. So this, we can now just remove, because that is a default thing that comes out of the box with every adapter now. All right, seemed really common, so yeah, so that works now. If I just give it some kind of payload, it gets typed as any. It used to get typed as void, but then sometimes I'd plug a source into two things, and in one store it only wanted to know that it happened. The other one, it wanted the actual payload. And the one where it only wanted to know it happened, if you define the reaction without the payload, it expects void and then it complains that it's receiving something. So maybe it should be void or any. Apparently, I mean, that might be something that could work. So I could look into that more. I will. Then we won't need to do this annoying thing. But, I mean, this isn't the end of the world either. Hey, this is future Mike. That was really bugging me, so I decided to look into it, and it took me a long time to figure this out. Longer than I'm proud to admit, but it's working now. Here's the demo. It's got it needs this. So I tested it. I realized that let's see, I don't remember where it was, but I had this test where whether it was a source with void or I was using toSource on an observable with from a subject that had void, those were working. You could actually put those in, and the issue is there's a difference between a payload that's void and a payload that's not there. So the issue ended up being inside my function. So inside here specifically. So I added this. If you look at the diff here, I added that, and then made sure in get HTTP sources. Where was it? Oh, it was in split HTTP sources. I just used an operator so that it could keep this generic type and pass it through. So this way, it says that the payload keeps the same type. Whereas if I inlined it and just had this only, it would, and I left out the payload, then it would say that there's no payload. So you probably won't be doing this, but if you ever do mess with the internal structure of an action in a sources pipeline, put it in an operator so that you can use this generic thing. And then you define payload, because if I tried to even take payload out, since it's void, that's an error. So you gotta let the operator do it, because it doesn't know ahead of time that it's void. So this is okay. All right, there will probably be some future development with this because it's weird, but that's what I did so far. So, okay, I'm not going to update the current repository, or at least I'm not going to make a video about it because I don't think it's worth it. But this will be in the next version of StateAdapt, so was 0.42. So, yeah, all right. So, that's it so far. What else did I change? I'm going to pause the recording and go look. I don't think there are any other changes, so I'm just going to jump to redoing this. So, it's chaining off of the user. Okay, so if you go to the settings component, it will get first a blank user, and then it will get a filled in user. Okay, and so it's going to create two stores basically in succession. So what I want to do is stop doing that. The form state will just have the default value. Okay, where does it get initial state from? It's not defined yet. So this will just be the initial user, right? Doesn't need to be anything else. Actually, is this already part of it? Oh no, it's just generic, so data is the user. So in other of these types of components, I defined this above here, so we'll just do the exact same thing. And user is going to be auth initial state. Okay. So there's initial state, and error is it's just going to be this dot error, and I can define it up here. I don't really know why I wanted to define it somewhere else. It's actually not. These are the sources. I'm defining the store in the component in this one. So I mean, this is just fine. I don't need to define it over there. So I'm not really sure why I did that. Okay, but these are two stores I'm working with. This is the form store. No, this is just the form store. All right, all of this is going into this one source. Okay, I got it. So I guess, yeah. It redirects, doesn't it? Something like that. Yeah, it redirects. So it's never going to update anything. We're only listening for errors. Okay. But maybe we should listen to the submit action, because right now it's just a subject. I don't think anything is dispatched, but it doesn't matter that much. I could do that. I could put it in here too. That might be a good idea, but either way, when it's successful, it's going to it's going to perform this side effect. Yeah. The catch error will emit something after. This is not going to emit anything until this finishes. So yeah, it's not a typical HTTP sources thing until here. Okay, so I have a simple job. I gotta just stop thinking about everything and just get to this. Right, so this is the store auth facade user. This is important, but not now. Okay, so this is just going to be store.sources. Which means we can go change the template to stop being so confusing. All right, good. And errors. Okay, this is where we get. Okay, we don't need the spy store anymore. Not of this one. So this is just going to be store.errors. Oh, right. Store.errors. This isn't really store, it's more like the container. So maybe I should just call it store container. Just for extra clarity. Okay, so things are normal again. We've got a nice normal thing here, but the problem is, what about this data? When is it going to populate the form? Well, data is a selector. It can come from anywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to it's not, yes, there is a deterministic thing about it. If the one from here is empty, then we don't return anything. So let's say we can actually just do it here. Okay, so coming from here, I'm just going to delete this. Okay, and that too. Okay, so we're gonna, let's see. So we're gonna do the same thing we did. We're joining selectors from two different stores. So we're gonna do the auth facade and get the store. What's going on here? Is it just confused about everything in general? Okay, looks like it's defined now. Yep. We're going to get user. All right. Now from store containers store, we're going to get data. Okay, and then with both of these, user and form user, I will call it. If form user dot, what is there? What is there? Oh, it's just data. It's typed as any, which sucks. So I'm going to use this. Okay. If, let's see, username. So form user dot username. If that's defined, then we're using the form data. If not, we're going with the default. So this will get populated into the form, hopefully, and then any update will get pushed to the store. Now I'm thinking about, well, I can just see if it emits an initial action. Let's see if it does. It probably doesn't, and then I have to think more about this. But let's see, Jim Bob, edit profile settings. Is this settings? Okay. Oh, I bet there's more to change in the template. Let's see. Did it build? It did. Object for async pipe. That sounds ominous. Where is it? Okay, let's see what, oh, adapted and used here, okay. What is it? What is this? Oh, it's a store, of course. State, okay, all right. Simple fix, false alarm, I hope. You see that? It updated. Okay, now my question is, this is kind of dangerous. If I click this, what's it gonna do? Oh, it's gonna have the selector. I remember updating this. So in the template, submit passes in what came from the selector. So we're good. Is there nothing really? Let's see if we can update that. Whoa, some crazy stuff just happened. Are we not allowed to update the user? This was, what is going Okay. Why wouldn't this? Jim Bob 421, right? Refresh. Hey, it says I'm in. All right. That's not my responsibility. I shouldn't have refreshed just so I could see. What am I sending? This is like boring. What is this? Get user. It thinks I'm authenticated. So yeah, this is a bug that this would have been the same bug in is this what I'm looking at? No, user info, this must be it. Delete. Okay. Why? What? It's a session? I guess now that I'm at the end of this app, this is okay. It is getting from local storage, if I remember right. So off facade. What do I do about this? I'm gonna pause while I figure this out. So I actually have to sign in with the email. Let's see if this works. Yeah, it did. Oh, this is the other one. I'm logged out now. Here we go. Let's try that. All right, Jim Bob's back. And his username changed. So that's good. All right, so that's good. Now let's go to the other one. Let's see how we're doing. Well, that simplified things, and that also simplified things. So we're doing pretty all right so far. Okay, let's look at the other store. Article edit. And this is a store. There is a facade. But no, it's the store. It's a form facade. So this will be the exact same type of thing. All right, so article. Okay, this time the initial state is the article. Well, that's going to kind of be the same thing. So same deal. Move this up here. That's going to be initial state. Right? What exactly is that? Is it going to be data? I wish this was typed better. Also, how come this just wasn't put in this facade? I mean, it kind of belongs there, right? There's no reason for it to be here. All right, I will put it up there. So this used to go there. And what was this? This was an article. And let's look at data is article. Good. All right, then this works. Okay. Where did that request object go? Where was that? Here. Right. All right. So oops. All right. That works. And now it's defined here. Why wouldn't it be? That was kind of weird. And maybe I should just have it, let's see, the success. If there's an error, well, yeah, this is the way to do it. Or I could make an optional thing to this. Anyway, it's fine. All right, so this dot facade dot. All right. So this is the store now. Remember, no, I'm gonna comment it so I remember exactly what it is, and this will be the store. All right. Now, actually, this is the store container. So this dot store dot sources, and let's go edit the template again. Sources, here we go. Don't need that. That feels nice getting rid of. And then errors. This will be okay. Spy store is unnecessary. Structure is just going to be this. All right, except data is the special one again. So I'm just going to copy what I wrote over here. It's going to be mostly the same except different sources. So we're going to have just facade and article. Uh-oh. This could be a spy store. Right? In the edit field, what is requesting it though? So where does article come from? Where's the facade? Articles, facade. Article. Here it is. Oh, article store. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, that wouldn't have made sense. Article, is this right? Yep. Okay, just import this. We have store container store. It's the same. And you get article form data. I'll just call it form data. So how do we know if the article has loaded? Slug. Probably, yeah. Cool, we got it. That's data. Don't need that. Oh yeah, and then there's this. On init and on destroy. Anyway, I'm just going to test this for now. Good. Okay. I made this article. So, any errors? Nope. Let's edit this. Good. Showed up. Article success. Good. All right. Let's form update. There's our diff. Yes, it loaded for the first time with real stuff. And now I'll publish it. And why didn't it reload? If I refresh, why did that I shouldn't have refreshed. I'll just do it again. All right. So publish. What happened with the dev tools? Oh, this was... Wait, what's going on? Is this even the same? Oh, this is the form that's getting updated. Okay, so if we edit, publish. Okay, this is comment form of it. Okay, I should have seen that. Article request. Article success. That did not change. And it article 2. Destroy article 2. Destroy the form. Yes, this is fine. Form update. When does... Oh, publish article success. So I'm not dispatching the... Huh, this is strange. Article edit. There's data. And we can see it. Well, let's see. Yeah, I mean, we saw it. We saw it. So where does the form... Okay, I'm going to subscribe in here and see what data is emitting over time. I skipped a step. Maybe a couple steps. Okay, I'm gonna... All right. Data is full. Good. That is what I thought. Is this not updating? Store container.store data. .slug. Oh, of course that's not gonna. Is it gonna have slug? What's one of the required things in state? Well, oops, here and then nope. I'm still getting used to Mac OS after 5 years. 5 years, yeah. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, where? Down here, form update. Here we go. Article edit, data. Yeah, there's no slug. Okay, that makes sense. What about title? What about body? What? Loaded, loading. Oh, in here. Data. What? Why is this not... What's in here? Right? Form update. Let me make sure that that does the right thing. Set data. I mean, I need to go to the facade. Form facade. Form update. That happened. And we got update data, supposedly. With this. Okay, why didn't it actually update then? Oh, data. Oh. Any type, once again. Okay, so if this was fine, at what point was it wrapped in data? Oh, maybe it is the adapter. We did update data. State.data, data. Yeah, looks good to me. But it was sent a nested data object, so that was obviously from the template. Come on. How? Here. Okay. It's there. It's their thing. Is it possible to do event.data here? This is so bizarre. Error? No. Let's look at the action. Or diff. States equal. Ugh, what? So that's nothing. I'm going to pause while I figure this out. So I didn't totally figure it out yet, but I'm console logging what's being pushed into that source and, well, what's coming out of the source. And this is expected. This is what every source ends up getting formatted as. And this is the issue. It's not an issue. That's the issue. So I'm going to go to form adapter. See if maybe I can set a breakpoint here and see what's happening. So if I do another one, state.data looks good. Data also looks good. Oh, is it the selector that's somehow screwing it up? I think that could be it. We've got form data here. Let's set a breakpoint in the this is edit.component. Make sure that is working correctly. Come on, let me set this. If you're creating a new article, this I can't use this, I don't think, but all right. Okay, now I will do that. No, like, oh, whoa, okay, that. What is going on? Oh, yeah, okay, that's a problem. Is it the initial one? That's the problem? And this is great. That's correct. Where does this get added? I'm going to refresh. Here's the initial thing. No, there's this. Correct. Okay. Great. So that's that. State.data is already messed up. Oh, my initial state. Right. Okay. Really? Data. Stupid. I was looking at it and I missed it. Oh gosh, that is frustrating. This was a bug out of there's no reason for this bug. Unforced error. That's what that was. Okay, we'll be good now. All right, update that. Go to Redux and form update diff. It's just the data that's different. Ah, that's great. And now we got this. And slug is still not there. So I wonder, so what we have here is local state knows what's there. Like the form input state itself, it's not getting updated every cycle or something like that. So I don't know what the deal is there. But anyway, so I can go off of something else. I think title is going to be necessary. I can just check if it's still the initial one. I think object reference should be maintained. I'm going to set a breakpoint and just double check that. So initial state. Hope it has access to that. Apparently not. So initial state dot data. Okay. Now it has to know what it is. Oh, didn't refresh yet. Okay, that means so far it looks like it's going to be true. Let's evaluate this. And fine, this is just going to be quick. Just going to log it right before. Okay, let's go. True, it is the same, and then it's true, and then it's true still. But when I, what's going on here? Oh, if it's the same, if it's different, that's what I want. Okay, so if it's different, all right. True, good. Now we do that, and false, good. That's exactly what we want. All right. So that is there, and there we go. Perfect. Ah, perfect. Yep, this is where we did this. I don't like this. Yeah, it's because I didn't want to create a method for the article thing. Because then, I mean, I would have created it here in this component, the store itself, and I could have still done this. So that would have been easy. I think it's fine. I think it would have been fine. And for any other components that share it, yeah, one of them would have to be the first one to do it. That seems like a shared resource problem. So yeah, I still am unsure about what to do with parameters and things. I'm going to get a lot more experience, hopefully, with this. So, okay, anyway. I think we're good to go. So there, publish that, and come on. Oh, come on. What's that exact error? Title must be unique. Slug wasn't sent. Okay, so there's extra data kept with in the article and the form state is supposed to be spread onto that state. So we're still in the middle of this. Oops, form update. Yeah, these forms, they don't have like it wants to, but that form component isn't sending it up. Why not? I would like to change that. I'm going to see if I can change that. Why wouldn't that be preserved? I was the one who set this initial state. If you go to forms initial state, it's empty. So I think it was never intended. Well, structure here. This determines the... Oh, geez, this scrolling is so hard to get used to. It's impossible. Okay, so structure determines what inputs are there. Where's this component? So, listen for changes. This is doing value changes. So this is only going to get stuff from the it's only going to get stuff from the inputs. I think I'm totally in support of putting the entire model in the form state. Am I? Let me think. I'm going to pause again. Okay. Yeah, I updated the form, so now it's patched this, so now I'm going to save it, and it worked. Okay, finally. Edit again. Hey, there it is. Publish again. Hey, there it is. Okay. Awesome. Finally. Okay, now I will think about what is next. What is next? Is there anything left on my list of changes I wanted to make? I don't think so. I think that's it. So it's time to overview some things. So what did I just do? With the articles facade, yeah, that was a tiny thing I got rid of as well. So use new StateAdapt HTTP source functions. All right. So that will be awesome to have. We've got, I think, Husky stuff going on. Use new StateAdapt. Default reaction. Okay, and then the rest will be all in the same bucket. This is, I have still some cleanup to do apparently. Okay, what about here? That looks fine. What about here? That looks fine. That looks fine. Settings, this is worth looking at, so here we go. Oh, of course I would have gotten rid of a bunch of that stuff. There was a lot of RxJS stuff that I had. Extra irrelevant, unnecessary things. Good. Okay. All right. This is feeling pretty good about this. All right. Now, use selector to provide initial data to form. All right. Now it's comparison time. So I'm going to cancel this and just look up at the diffs. So let's do 17. Let's see how far that goes. Yep. So here are all the commits that I added. Let's see what the diff between this one and this one are. So that was a moderate amount of change. I got rid of 12 lines of code overall with these improvements, and probably only like, well, pretty much none of them were from the StateAdapt features that I just created. They were from redoing how I did the store in settings and article edit. Okay, well, how about overall? And what's the cleanup for? I don't even. What's the cleanup for? I'm gonna ignore that. Nah, who knows what cleanup is for, but I'm going to just do the full diff. So I converted the project to StateAdapt, and this is the full diff. That looks like just about 50%. So let me type it in here, do the math. I bet if it weren't for the arrow function rule that I changed with Prettier, it would have been 50% because this was minus 48%. Minus 48.3%. So half the code is basically what this was. Let me see if I can figure out how to compare branches here. Compare with head. 3 files changed, 93 files changed. All right, let's see if... Okay, yeah, these are all the changes. Yeah, a lot was changed. I think I deleted an effects spec file in one of the commits. And in that case, oops. Yep, right here. Yeah, that's not that much. 27 lines of code. Yeah, doesn't really make a difference. So anyway, even if I had done things slightly differently, like the syntax I created for StateAdapt, I designed to be as minimal as practically possible. What I wanted is full reactivity. That means an event equals one source, and everything is downstream from that. So, and then you want to define it minimally. The source knows what type it is, so all you need to do is put the data into it. Yeah, and I love that with reactive programming, type inference is such a huge thing because, yeah. it's pretty great. Yeah, and there still are some issues with StateAdapt, but just converting this big project, this medium, this is like a 3 out of 10 size project probably. It really helped. It helped me figure out some things. I'm just gonna go ahead and put that back on. Okay. It really helped me understand some of the shortcomings and some of the questions that I still have about state management and StateAdapt. And I've got a lot of ideas, and I will keep developing things and converting projects to StateAdapt, and that will probably bear a lot of fruit as well. So this was awesome. I have the lines of code, and I'm going to publish this up to GitHub, I guess. There's no real point in me doing it, but I guess there's no point in me not doing it. So here we go. Publish. So that is publishing. Let's see if I can find it. StateAdapt. How do I find my fork of it? Okay, that's different. Oh, is this it? No. No, this is an article I wrote, so I don't really know. Anyway, I don't want docs. Let's just go to GitHub. That's a good starting place, possibly. Let's go to your repositories. Here we go. I call this Angular 14. All right, and here's the pull request. Oh, I'm 3 commits behind. Let's see what that looks like. Start where I configure it. Don't care about that. Homelib. Something about global. What? Okay. You just move the effects into the component? That's interesting. What's this? You upgraded. Oh, you got to 14. I'll have to see if replace global store with local. Oh, is this like a provider's thing? Okay, he formatted that. That's like whatever. I'm not entirely sure what is going on, but I don't think it doesn't change functionality. So add first local store. Okay, this might help. Not really. Oh, actually, I bet it does. So no facade. Oh, he's using NgRx component store. Is he converting it to component store? I hope so. That'll give me a good comparison, because I only found one repo that I could compare using component store. This is a lot of work to do all this, though. Interesting. Okay. Difference between component store and StateAdapt is component store isn't completely reactive and doesn't hook into Redux DevTools, but they're about the same lines of code. For small features, I haven't tested it on big ones, but all right. So I don't really care about this. Let's compare and pull request. Why not? What's wrong with it? Oh, this is going back to the original, so let's look at the diff. Where'd the diff go? Oh, here it is. So let's just scroll through and enjoy. Well, that's boring. Oh, the file was deleted. Okay. Deleted. Don't get to visually see as much red, but yeah, whatever. Okay, alright. I am done with this series. That was fun. Pretty satisfied with how it ended up. So, thanks for watching. Please let me know if you have any suggestions, and I will try to figure out how to make StateAdapt better as I keep working. So, alright. See ya.